Hey people, what's going on? So, this talk is really a combination of different pieces of insights that I've had over the last few days, especially as I have more conversations with potential clients and clients. And I thought I'd just bring some of these highlights. As coaches, we deal with stuff every day, and sometimes we remember things that we've learned before. And one of the beauties of being a coach, a trainer, is that I get to relearn all the time. And when I relearn and relearn and relearn, then I know. And even when I know, I still want to relearn because learning is a sign of growth for me. So, what I want to talk about today, especially for you leaders out there, is around the idea of chaos and criticism. Let's start with criticism for a minute. Over the last 10 years that I've been an independent consultant and coach, I've come to learn something that you too must learn if you're going to grow. And I still have a lot way to go. But one of the things that I've learned is that when you start to play big, people will criticize you. Okay? The moment you start to play a bigger game, a different game, compared to the people you used to hang out with, compared to even your family will criticize you. And sometimes it goes beyond criticism. In some communities, it goes beyond criticism. It goes into deliberate sabotage because you're trying to be different, because you're breaking from the tribe. So when you decide that you're going to do something different, especially those of you that I work with who are transitioning from corporate life to entrepreneurial life, whether you're becoming a consultant or a coach, I'm not going to try to make it look like it's all rosy like you see on the internet. Maybe place a few Facebook ads and you have customers and clients flooding your calendar. That's BS because it doesn't work that way. When you leave the corporate world and come into this world, it's a whole new game. And no matter how experienced you were in your corporate profession, the dynamics are different here. You may know the technical stuff, especially if you go into consulting, but the approach is different. And it's going to take some time to build the kind of credibility you need in the new market. But here's the thing. When you do make that shift and nobody criticizes you, then maybe you're playing too small. Maybe you're not putting yourself out there enough. For the last few videos that I've made, people have sent me messages in back saying, how I should do this, I should do this. One of the lives that I did was windy. Why did I do it when I knew it was windy? Why can't I get a haircut? Well, it's COVID. I've not found the right place to have my hair cut that I trust. All right. And so people who will never dare go on a live or do a YouTube video are telling me how to do mine. They're criticizing what I've done. That's just an example. So when people don't criticize you, then you're playing too small. So be ready. Just have that mentality, have that mindset that when you get out there, when you put yourself out there to start your own business, take the entrepreneurship route, build a tribe, build a following, build an audience, build a community, find your voice. Who are you to write a book? Who are you to develop an online course? Who are you to say that you're a coach? Who are you to want to be an international speaker? Those are the questions that people will be asking of you, if not to your face. And you will hear those things. And sometimes the people from whom you'll hear them will make you feel really bad because you least expect to hear from those kinds of people. So when you set out to pursue your dreams, be ready for criticisms. But here's the thing. With the criticisms and the chaos that could come along, if you're not strong, you could break down. You see, because as you've been criticized, you're also facing challenges in the market. The market is not going to allow you in so easily. I don't know of anybody who's entered business and just had a smooth ride. Unless that business was inherited and the market was already defined and acquired. Maybe it was a father handing down the business to his son, or family handing down the business to their daughter, or whatever the case is. But if you're starting afresh, no matter how easy you think the market is, you're going to face some stumbling blocks. And sometimes it's going to be chaotic. It's going to get scary. You're going to want to sometimes retreat. That's when people say this thing is not for me. Yes, entrepreneurship may not be for everybody, but sometimes people give up too soon because they can't stand the heat. They can't stand the chaos. I was talking to a friend today who's been through some really crap. He runs a trucking company. In 2 weeks, he's lost 2 of his containers and trucks to accident. In today's incident, 6 persons died. And his company is at fault. And he's like, man, I feel like I'm being sabotaged. And while that is a possibility, because, what are the odds that you have 2 40-foot containers derailed within a space of 2 weeks? It doesn't happen that often. But it's also possible that it's no sabotage. All right? So there's going to be chaos in business. Employees are going to get hurt. Customers are going to get mad. Suddenly, some of them won't pay. You're going to owe your vendors. And your vendors are going to be on your case. They're going to threaten you sometimes. Are you going to just allow that to cause you to fold? It shouldn't. It shouldn't. So, you must understand that criticism and chaos will come along this journey with you. They're going to be there. And you must be prepared to deal with them. You must be prepared to deal with them. And that's where certain habits must be developed and sustained. One of which is self-care. Quiet time for prayer, for meditation. Because if you're not refilling your spirit, if you're not refilling your soul, and you're empty on that level, you will break down quicker than anything. The other thing is sometimes the reason we find chaos is because we're trying to move too fast. Sometimes it's important to slow down. Be willing to do the boring things. Be willing to do the boring things. Some of you may know the story of the tortoise and the hare. The hare is an animal that's moving fast. Blah, 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 blah. The race starts and he's moving. And the tortoise is taking one step at a time. Eventually, the hare gets tired, falls asleep, and the tortoise continues to go one step at a time. Passes the hare, reaches the finish line before the hare wakes up. The race is never to the swift, but he who endures to the end. That's what matters. To reach the end, means that you cannot focus on the end. And I know it sounds some kind of way, but sometimes we struggle as entrepreneurs because we're focused on the outcome that we desire, and we get addicted to the outcome and ignore the process, and the process becomes something that we can't stand. Here's a tip for you: learn to enjoy the process. You see, because the outcomes really you can't control. You think you can control them 100%, but you really can't. What you can control is the effort that you put in, and you are sure, based on science, based on experience, based on a number of different things, that if you apply certain efforts, you get certain outcomes. So the fact is, you can only control the effort that you apply, because the outcomes are also influenced by environment and circumstances. Case in point, COVID. A lot of us had business plans and goals, outcomes that we thought we would have achieved by now. And no matter what you did last year that was, or even at the beginning of the year in January and February, that would have assured you getting a certain outcome, chances are you didn't get those outcomes. Or you might have had to switch. That's where the whole idea of pivoting came in. And everybody has to pivot and take a new look at their businesses. Don't get addicted to the outcome. Focus on the journey, because that's what high performers do. They enjoy the process. They enjoy the journey. Just think about the experience and the feeling that you want at the end of the day. That's all. All right, because that's really what matters. What do you think you want? You want to do $2 million this year, or you want to do $7 million, or hit $10 million in your business? It's not really that which you want. It's the feeling that's associated with that outcome. So enjoy that feeling. Bring that feeling now to the now and experience that feeling. And then get to work. Get to work. That's all that matters. Do what you can. And one of the things I learned early on in coaching is, yes, you may set income targets, and a lot of people set income targets, but it's better to set proposal targets, because you're sure to hit them if you do the work. You can guarantee it. But if I set a target that I want to generate, let's say $200,000 in coaching income, I don't have any guarantees that I can generate $200,000 in coaching income, because I could, for one reason or the other, I could talk to as many persons as possible and I wouldn't make that much. Maybe for some reason I may have targeted the wrong crowd or the wrong audience. But I could set a target to do $500,000 in proposals. And that could be my measure of success, because that is something that I have control over, and it's a process. So all I need to do is, whoever client I talk to, I propose, okay, I'm going to propose $10,000 per client, so I need to talk to 50 clients. Is that a number? Oh, 500 clients, whatever. My mathematics is not right now. But you get the idea. So, for each client I talk to, I make that proposal. Whether or not they accept it, I leave that to the universe to figure out. I trust that God, who has placed me in this position, will work out all the things once I do my part. And that's all it is. So learn to focus on your processes and stop focusing on the outcomes. Because the outcomes may disappoint you and they'll cause you to get in the wrong state of mind. But when you focus on what you can do and the processes and how much you can quote and set targets based on that, and even for your people. A lot of people set sales targets and they push their teams to the brink of destruction mentally. And sometimes encourage their teams to do illegal things just to meet sales targets. Maybe it's time to change it. Instead of meeting sales target, try to meet proposal targets. And who knows, you just might outdo your intended sales target. If you decide to get into this world of entrepreneurship at a higher level, be ready to embrace criticisms and play full out in the world of chaos. I'll catch you later.